people don't understand real estate agents are actually fiduciaries. Their entire mandate is to protect your financial interest when you're their client. My wife's a broker. Mm-hmm. My grandfather was a broker. My wife's mom was a broker. I mean, like, my mom's a broker. Like, I got a lot of agents in the family.
Yeah.
So they're not all dumb, like Ryan said.
I never said anybody in your family was dumb. I don't need Jennifer hunting me down.
He had an unfortunate streak of bad agents.
But what's going to happen, what will happen out of this is something you just said. More people specifically, and this is where I talk about unintended consequences, the non-affluent and maybe less educated will go without representation. And when they go without representation, it means no one's telling them how to helping them handle inspection reports. No one's helping them understand the different financing opportunities or grants that are out there. People don't understand real estate agents are actually fiduciaries. Their entire mandate is to protect your financial interest when you're their client. And so when you have what I believe will end up being a large part of the population getting flat fee people where they pay them $100. I even saw one, like, you can buy a package of showings, 5 showings for $500. Well, now, if you don't, and then if you won't help drafting the contract, it's $150 or whatever, and it's all like paid up front with a credit card, that seems like a great idea. But the less fortunate will be the less represented the way this is all shook out. Shimmy shake.
Sure. Yeah. But to answer that, or to address that, and to tack on to, like, when you do have an affluent buyer, that commission check is going to be so much higher than, I almost said the $100,000, $200,000 house, but we haven't seen those in like 20 years. Yeah. But like the lower end.
Some lots.
What's that?
Some lots.
I was thinking the same thing.
But my point being is, like, the first time home buyer who would be most affected by this, they're going to be going into a house where that commission check is so low that they are going to have those types of realtors that are just like, yeah, the box is signed there, and they're not necessarily, I'm not saying everybody, potentially may not have as much skin in the game to actually do their job to the level of that you're talking about.
Absolutely. I mean, if you think about it, the FHA required down payment is 3.5%. And we're talking about, commission to a buyer's agent historically has been almost the same. And if I'm coming in making an offer as a first-time home buyer, if I was helping my son draft an offer, which I wouldn't because I'm not a realtor, if my wife was helping our son draft an offer, don't need track coming after me. We'll talk about that later.
This is not financial advice.
You would look at the market analysis. You would see what you thought it would appraise for, and then say they had the 3.5% down. Well, then I would look at, can we try to ask for closing costs? Can we try to ask for home warranties? Can we try to ask for a new roof? But now I've got to ask for a commission as well. Like, it's just another ask that I feel like takes away from what the buyer was able to be, and you can't always just add it on because appraisals aren't coming in where they're supposed to be now.
Correct. And so I think that's where it goes back to those buyers are the ones that are really going to be at risk because they have a separate agreement with their agent on compensation. So then you put the agent in the tough position of saying, okay, how much is my time really worth? And do I put myself over the need of the transaction from my consumer? And historically, our commissions have never been part of the transaction. We've been able to, we don't negotiate our commissions historically within the transaction. And these changes have created it so now Texas Realtors, we have specific addendums that are now part of the transaction where we have to disclose where and who and how our commissions are being paid if we're trying to structure it as part of the deal. And it does, I think, put the consumer at a disadvantage.
I agree.
And just to backtrack a little bit, just to clarify it,
all right.
My experience is basically because you can imagine as investors, we're not buying We're buying like $40,000, $50,000, $100,000 houses. So therefore, you're not going to expect a realtor to give that much effort.
Well, I think on the contrary, I think you picked the wrong realtor. There's a lot of realtors that I know that earn their full commission and their bread and butter is working with investors, but they're not looking at one deal. They're looking, I'm working with this investor for the next 10 years,
Right.
and I'm looking at 20 transactions that I'm looking to do with them, and I'm managing their entire portfolio, and I'm giving them 5-year returns on their investments with forecasting on whether they should buy and hold or be able to create rental income here,
Right.
or when is our strategy for dumping, right? So I just think you chose a realtor whose niche was not investing, and you needed some help there on coaching on getting the right agent.
Well, also, I think you're looking.
coaching.
I know.
Bless you.
I think you're, but that
Sorry.
is more of what I'm hearing you. That's more of like a concierge, which would be awesome. What I was
But
referring
that's
to.
what realtors do.
What we would use is just like, give me the house because we know more than you. Maybe it's our own arrogance. And now I'm
there
looping
we
Tim
go.
into this conversation.
So
I need a
this
teammate, bro.
goes back to choosing the wrong agent,
Right.
right? We all have different specialties and we are not all made the same.